everybody, and welcome to GT Live. I am Brandon Jones. I am your host. The game we are playing today is Mortal Kombat X, which comes out this week. The code we are giving away, we're giving away 5 of them for Titan Souls, which is a game Mr. Daniel Bloodworth has spent a lot of time with recently and can heartily recommend. And our guests, we have too much guest as far as I'm concerned today. The guest talent is overflowing. First of all, we have Damien Monnier from CD Projekt Red.
Good spelling.
Yes.
Yeah, good pronunciation.
An excellent shirt, my friend.
Thanks.
While it's not the same shirt, we clearly have a really good style going here. Lots of color matching.
Yeah, Damien's got the hood.
And we have Miss Trisha Hershberger for the first time on any GT stage for any GT show.
That's true.
Who is now in the Defy Media family, specifically working for the Escapist.
Yes.
But we will hook you into various GT projects.
I would like that a lot.
E3 coverage and whatnot. And thank you so much for being on GT Live.
Absolutely.
And while we confessed early on that both you and I do not have experience yet, outside experience for the Witcher series. We have not played the Witcher games, which you were excited about.
You haven't played it?
I've not played any. Yeah, exactly.
He's out.
Done.
He's out. No, but
it's a good thing. It's a good thing. We worked really hard to make sure that we knew it was going to be the last chapter for Geralt. So for us, it would be a shame to alienate a lot of people that haven't played the previous games.
Like us.
Like you guys. Like you. So no, we
ignorant,
worked hard to
proud
make
of
sure
it.
It was a standalone game, and it's cool.
But you are a big fantasy nerd.
Huge.
You love the D&D. You love the tabletop.
Love the D&D, love the tabletop, love the World of Warcraft, love any of that open world fantasy that you can put me into. I'm happy to be there. And I got a chance to see some of Witcher 3 at E3 last year, so I didn't get to play it, but I got to watch someone else run through it for a little bit, and it looks spectacular.
Thank you.
So we'll be taking questions throughout the show. Mr. Kyle Bosman will be in chat, so you want to direct questions his way if you want to ask our panel something specific. Since I'm guessing a lot of the questions will be Witcher 3 specific, because we're only a few weeks out. It comes out on May 19th.
That's right. Yeah.
I want to get you out of the way.
Okay, let's do it.
Before we start,
Boom.
I want to talk about what you've been up to lately and what you're going to be doing here at Defy.
Cool. What have I been up to lately? A lot of stuff is the answer to that question. So I just recently moved on from SourceFed, where I was working. If any of you have not seen SourceFed, it's a fun things you should or should not know this week, kind of newsy type channel, and SourceFed Nerd, where we do nerdy niche things and lots of different stuff. And I've been there for 3 years, helping to write and be on-camera talent and helping with production, etc. And I just recently made the decision to move here to some of the Defy networks, specifically Escapist. And I've got 3 new shows in development right now.
You can't talk about any of them. They're all super
secret. I can't talk about any of them. They're very secret, but I'm really excited about them. And I've been doing a lot of work on my own personal channel, youtube.com/Trisha Hershberger, and my Twitch channel. And I'm juggling a lot of balls right now, but it's really good. Really, really good. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to hang out on the Game Trailers set.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, we're really excited. And as I mentioned before, there's lots of stuff that we do because we're in the same building. So it's like there's lots of shows that we do that it just seems like a no-brainer to bring you on. Also seems like a no-brainer to talk about The Witcher, especially a month out. Are you confident at this point, a month out from the game launching?
That we're not going to push the date again.
Right, Matt.
Yeah, pretty confident.
We can start there.
Yeah.
It's weird because, when you make a game, you have, it's like a baby. You see it from the very beginning when it's kind of ugly. People say it's pretty. It isn't. It's ugly.
Yeah.
You're like,
people have said that about Witcher forever. It's just a really gross looking game,
And because
no one has ever said ever.
You keep working on it, and you see what's wrong with it, how you can improve, and then that's when you push a date, and you're like, let's make it better and better. And at the end of the day, you're not certain that it's going to be a good game until you see your colleagues playing it. And that may sound weird, but it's, when you work on a game for years, I've never played my games after they've launched, but The Witcher is going to be the first one.
But you're playing it plenty right now.
Yeah, well, not when I have to come here. And actually,
Right.
I've got a copy of Mortal Kombat waiting for me back in Poland, so I'd love to play that too, but yeah, I do play it quite a lot. But we got a lot of DLC, so we still have a lot of work to do. Got lots of DLCs. We announced, 3 DLCs, so we got to start making it now.
So, and I imagine this would seem like a typical game that you wouldn't play after release because we were just talking about earlier that you said that you were like trying to speed run it, and that is dozens and dozens of hours.
Yes.
So this is not an easy game to
I
just
can't
jump
speed
into.
run it. Yeah, and
Right.
it's one of our QA guys who managed to do it in about 25 hours.
Really
managed.
speedy.
Speedy,
Right.
but the thing is, when we announced that, a lot of people online said, "You have no idea what you're talking about. A speed run is like an hour and a half or 2 hours." I said, "No, you really don't understand. This is him just skipping everything, just ignoring the side quests and really just going for it." And it took him 25 hours, but you can do the whole thing in about 50 hours. And if you want to do everything, it really depends. It's hard to say because there's a lot of exploration. Don't game it, just role play it. You want to go on your horse and just go travel, see what's down there. It might take you 15 minutes, but you have a nice journey. Do you know what I mean? It's just play it, enjoy it.
And I think that's one of the reasons actually why I haven't played not only Witcher 1 and Witcher 2, but a lot of really good RPGs. And I'm curious if you feel the same way, Trisha, that like
The open worlds.
that it's not that like I think I played Fallout 3 for like an hour and a half, and then I like got out, or however long it took me to get out of the vault, and then did like one quest and just kind of like took a deep breath and looked at the size of the world and was like, I don't really know if I have the time to invest in this. Not that it's not worth it, but because I'm gonna really get deep into this game, and I'm not gonna play anything else because I'm only playing this game.
Yeah, it can be a little overwhelming for sure. I like to pick like 2 or 3 games a year. I would say that I invest all of my time into, and that's not to say that I don't play any other games. It's just those are the games that the
I'm the same.
completionist part of me that needs to do all the side missions. Those are my games for that. So it usually is a mix of whatever I can get my hands on physically and what I'm excited about. So I'm hoping that Witcher 3 could be that game for me this year. I'm stoked.
Well, I'm terrified because your game's coming out a month before E3, and we have lots of work to do to prep for E3.
Yes.
Not only that, it's coming out a month before Batman: Arkham Knight, which is
Right.
my second anticipated game of the year.
That's right. You can say we've
so-
got the same parents.
so I
as
don't know,
both Warner Brothers. So
Right.
that's cool.
So I don't know if there's like a good point in the game that I should take a break and realize like, okay, it's time to make the shift into E3 and then finish Batman, and then maybe like in beginning of July jump back in.
Whenever you feel like it.
You've been talking about you were talking about beard growth earlier. We had a really deep, extensive conversation about beard growth.
We did.
I love that part of this game. I'm so excited
Next gen, man. Go big, go beard or go home.
Right.
There you go. Just came up with a tweet it,
But
hashtag.
I've always thought that that's something that it could be potentially missing from role-playing games, is just that acknowledgement of time passing, because a lot of times you'll get a quest from somebody and then take off and then come back like years later. Animal Crossing popped up in a countdown we were doing, and everybody in Daniel's Village was like, "Where have you been?"
Yeah.
This is like the GameCube version. It was like, man, it's been years, but it's wonderful to see you.
remember that.
But yeah, so I wonder if it's if that's just too much work to like have. It'd be funny to have a quest every now and then being like, it's been months. I don't know where you've been. I gave you that amulet, and you were supposed to do this thing.
You're not gonna grow a Gandalf beard.
Ah.
Right? It's not. To be honest with you, it's such a tiny feature. Like I was explaining to Mr. Bosman, it's just a guy that did it. He didn't even bother telling anyone because he didn't. He's like, just did it.
That developed it for the game, yeah.
Yeah. He just. And then when we announced it a few weeks ago, like 3/4 of the studio didn't know we had it because you're so used to it, to just have fast travel, use fast travel, and your beard will grow, and it just makes sense. So you don't go to, to shows and you say, yeah, by the way, open world, whatever. The beards, my friend. This is where it's at.
Well, it depends on who you're talking to, because actually, for games of this size, it really is those small touches.
It is.
That's the stuff that we, our office, not to bring Bloodborne up, but every single GT Live we have, but our office has been really obsessed with that game over the last
So
couple
have
weeks.
I.
And it's not, it's fun to talk about the, boss strategies and big broad strokes, but it's really great, like those little stories that I don't know if you picked up on, or this little touch, this little graphic thing, this little hat or a little
Totally
outfit.
agree with you.
Yeah.
It's because we have really so many little things that you just, I don't know. It's weird. And a good small touch is something that you will not notice. It's something that just makes so much sense that it becomes part of the world that you've created. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
That's when you've done your job right, when people don't notice your work. There you
Super
go.
cool.
Story of my life. Single tear.
Well, I apologize that people might be a little bit distracted from all the excellent points you're making about your game, because people are being severed and electrocuted behind you, because of course we're playing Mortal Kombat X, which you said you're stoked about. Are you a long Mortal Kombat fan, or is it just something about X that's really got you?
It's both. Because actually I when was it, 92? Was it 92, the first one? When was
You're close, yeah, somewhere around
It was
there.
somewhere because we celebrated the anniversary recently. So no, I remember when it first came out, I used to play with my cousin, who I've got two cousins. One was really into Street Fighter, and the other one was all about Mortal Kombat. And it's like there's always been team whatever you know, with consoles, with games, with vampires and werewolves and really bad movies. There's always a team of, you know, and I loved both, you know, I really like both, but I always play Chun-Li or Scorpion. That's it. I don't touch anything else. I'm quite boring with that. But the fact that I'm excited about this one, it's good. I think since MK9, they've really just, I don't know, it's just really, really tight. And the trailer, actually, you need to remember the trailer when you had Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Yeah, that first
with that
one.
tune. I still watch it. It's just so good. It's like watching two people. It's like watching a really nice dance. You know, it is beautiful to look at. It is very gory, mind you, but I don't know. I like it. I really like it.
I was actually gonna mention that because I was curious. You guys haven't explored hip hop in any of your Witcher trailers for Wild Hunt.
No, we haven't.
Is that something? You just don't rule it out. Is all
Fair
I'm saying.
point. Fair point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll bring it up.
The next Witcher. Just
team
keep it
meeting.
in the back of your mind. So we got a full couch over here, guys. We have 4 people on the couch. Leave it to Mortal Kombat to bring out 4 separate people. Huber's not feeling good today. Huber came up to me earlier today. He's like, I'm not gonna make GT Live. I can't make. I'm sick. And here he is on the couch, infecting the rest of the people with whatever it is he has. We have Mr. Don Casanova over there, who looks like he's currently playing, going up against Mr. Brad Ellis, and of course Mr. Ben Moore. You are playing. So that's my first question: is are we just picking random people and just jumping in? What mode are we playing?
Yeah,
right
we're getting ready for Evo right now. We're really, if you watch the stream, this is the highest level of play that you will see in Mortal Kombat. So please be impressed.
Expect at least a few 3 or 4 hit combos.
Yeah. That's about it. I think that's as high as the game goes.
One hit combo.
So just going down the couch, I'm going to start with you, Mr. Huber. Favorite fighter so far? You also reviewed the game for us, which we put up in a temporary state, the full review with a score. The final evaluation of Mortal Kombat X will be going up tonight, written by Mr. Michael Huber. Do you have a favorite fighter?
Since Mortal Kombat 1, man, Liu Kang. He's been my guy
always?
forever. Liu Kang and Scorpion and Sub-Zero alternate.
And you're digging what they did with Liu Kang in this one.
I love it.
Because I could see that as something that fans actually wouldn't like.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was Armageddon where he was dead and he had like these chains attached to his arms. It's really cool.
So you're a fan of everything they've done. Don, any lifelong fighters?
Reptile is an old favorite. I've always liked a few of them. They left out this time. I used to like Cyrax and Sindel a lot and Nightwolf, but they still have Reptile in here, so I like him so far.
And just pointing out for fans that have been with us for a little while, the Mortal Kombat retrospective cut by Mr. Don Casanova back in the day.
Yeah.
Correct. A 2-parter. It's supposed to be a 1-parter, then ended up being 2 because it was too damn long. Brad Ellis, do you have a favorite fighter?
Sub-Zero has always been my go-to.
I like that we got different picks. Good, guys. Ben Moore?
My favorite character is not in this one, Cabal, but so far I really like Cassie Cage. I think she's a super fun character.
What about Cassie strikes your fancy?
Just her attitude, like they did a really good job of making her feel like the daughter of Johnny Cage, and she's super quick. I tend to like very quick characters in fighting games.
So personality goes a long way in picking a fighting game character. Okay. I am absolutely abysmal at fighting games. How about you, Trisha?
Oh, I'm the worst button masher of all the button mashers.
Which works for some games.
It
Some games love
does
it.
work for some games, but it sounds awful if you actually are playing with arcade sticks.
Right.
I love it. It's really fun, but yeah, it sounds abysmal.
Fair enough.
Have you ever played with an arcade stick at home? Do you just use
Yeah,
regular
it depends
controller?
on the game. It depends. It
Oh.
really depends. I need to get man, you can't get used to a stick because then you get invited to your mate's house.
Right.
Oh, you gotta bring
And then
it.
they smash you,
Right.
and then you just sit down. I speak from experience, sadly, and you're like,
Pack it with you, man. Just take it with
yeah, but then you get shit from.
I have to admit, this has
Look
got
at him, Mr. Pro, and then you lose, and they're like, go home.
This is the most distracting game we've had on GT Live so far. It's really, really tough.
Yeah, sorry, I
Just
wanna.
be staring at somebody and somebody's skull is getting crushed right
Yeah,
behind
it
you.
is.
I'm trying to make eye contact with you. but then-
Sub-Zero.
So how is this game? How's the learning curve in this game, Mr. Huber? Can I just jump in
It's
being
easy-
terrible at this, or
Yeah, it's easy to pick up, but you know, the old phrase "easy to pick up, hard to master" is very true with Mortal Kombat.
any characters, Ben, that are good for beginners?
I think Scorpion is pretty good for beginners. He has some distance stuff, and he's kind of decent up close. Like he's a good all-around character, I would say. Scorpion. Plus, you get to melt people's faces off with fire, so that's a big plus, I think.
How are we doing on progress in the game? Because I know there's like a ton of stuff you can unlock. We got all the fighters, I'm assuming, unlocked. That,
Yep.
are we seeking a good spread of fighters throughout GT Live? Or are you guys just going to be picking who you're best
We're mixing them up, fully mixing them up.
So there's not a lot of pride on the line here on this couch.
No.
I mean, we're all the best. No pride.
Right, world's best here. So when I come back to you guys in half an hour, are we expecting to be somewhere, or are we keeping score here? Does the game do that for you?
No, we're just battling. We're just having fun.
I think Hubert is unequivocally the best.
It's a party over here.
Really?
But he reviewed the game.
I reviewed the game.
Oh,
One
okay.
for
I was
gonna
advantage.
say that.
So not necessarily the best at Mortal Kombat, but the best currently at Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah. It won't last long.
Clearly.
Don, are you trying to? Everyone's really paying attention. Everybody's eyes are locked on
Don-
that TV.
If you were to put money down on it, I think eventually Don will be a god.
Hopefully,
I
I'll
can
have
just
some.
crush all
Hopefully,
of
I'll have
them.
some time to play it this week so far. I've barely gotten to touch it yet, but you know, I don't know. Hubert's pretty good.
Hubert's Liu Kang. You don't stand a chance. You
Liu
don't stand a
Kang.
chance.
Been playing him for over
Fire
a decade.
fists.
Liu Kang.
Now, are you able to adapt your Liu Kang strategy to other people, or are you just know some of those? You just know some of those moves so well.
I just
they haven't
try to
messed
get
with those, right?
up close and personal. Flurry of attacks.
Relentless.
Relentless Liu Kang.
So how did things change up with your Liu Kang skills now that there are 3 different types of Liu Kang? You know, he's got his 3 different styles.
I tend to favor the flame fist, which is quick and fast attacks.
But did that take away? Do you sacrifice some moves that you otherwise would have if you picked a different style?
Yeah, your fireball's not as strong, so that's the trade-off.
Are there just straight up moves he can't do, or is it just a stat thing?
Yeah, he has like a punch instead of the bicycle kick, so you lose the bicycle kick.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That seems pretty key.
Yeah.
That seems pretty iconic.
Yeah.
But he's willing to make the sacrifice. So you get home, Damien. You pop in MKX for the first time. Who's your first guy? Who does
Scorpion.
Scorpion, right?
There's no question.
Who does the story? Because you go through the story and you have to play as specific people, right? Because I did play DC Universe, so I remember it was interesting following what. Yep, DC shout out. So I remember what that they had to pick. Nobody's looking at me on that couch. Everybo's just sad. It's there's no one's wondering. Like, I wonder what Jones' next question's gonna be.
We're looking at you at least half the time.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you guys. You guys are way more
I want
responsive.
to watch them use the environment more. That's something that they've kept from. Help me out. The Batman fighting.
Right.
Injustice, Gods Among
Injustice,
Us.
correct.
Yeah.
And that's a mechanic that I thought was really sweet. Maybe that's to answer your question with a massive lag. That's probably why I'm excited, because these guys, they try new mechanics and it just works really well. It's very easy to get stuck in a genre, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, there's a guy on the left, there's a guy on the right. You have certain moves that take certain amount of seconds, and then you learn those, and then. But they try to use the environment more, and it's brilliant, really brilliant.
Really quick before we move on, how is the environment? Is that like tactical at all, or is that just kind of like a fun screw you to do to your opponent? Like, can you actually has anybody won a match on an environment move?
If you use them, you can turn the tide of battle with them for sure. Because you can not only use them on offensively, but you can use them to evade. Like if you're in a corner, you can use it to bounce off and quickly get out of the corner.
So it's something you don't just do like knee jerk, but you can actually plan to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are some environments like better for environmental stuff than others? Is it pretty equal?
Yeah, some of them, like there are certain ones where the evasion is only on one side of the map, so you can try to pin them in the corner that doesn't have it. So yeah, it's pretty key.
That is
I imagine the highest level of play will be definitely using the environment.
So you will see it today.
Right.
I noticed you can turn those off.
And I just have to remark once again, the most serious faces I've ever seen on that couch. Like these guys are so intensely dedicated
Super intense.
to doing well. I'm expecting to see someone like passed out.
Yeah.
We unfortunately have to move on to other segments. Before we do, let's check in with the control room. Mr. Ian Hink is on the TriCaster, has his own little camera. How's it going, Ian?
It's good. I'm looking for my lower third. There it is.
Oh, nice. For you, yeah, there we go.
That's my
Yeah.
lower third. How's it going, everyone?
It's going fantastic. We were chatting earlier about how you're still approaching your platinum in Bloodborne. You don't have your Bloodborne platinum yet?
I have to beat the game 2 more times and finish the Chalice dungeon. I'm right at the end of New Game Plus regular. So I'm getting there. I'm almost there. Got everything else.
you have Mortal Kombat X and Witcher Wild Hunt in front of you, both playable in their final forms. Which one do you play?
Bloodborne.
There you go. That's the correct answer. What a smartass. And just a reminder to you guys watching at home, Mr. Kyle Bosman is in chat, and if you send him really good questions, we'll answer at the end of the show. We will give away 5 codes for Titan Souls. Mr. Ian Hake, do we show people what Titan Souls is?
I'm about to.
We're going to roll some gameplay, everybody. So you can see what Titan Souls is. We threw out Unmechanical Extended in an earlier episode of GT Live, and I'm sure a lot of people at home were like, who's mechanical? Does it what? And so here's Titan Souls. You are an extremely small character. You might not be able to even see you in this gameplay. This is Mr. Daniel Bloodworth cruising through the game expertly for his review.
That's a tutorial.
Oh no, it's a tutorial. Cruising through the tutorial, Mr. D Blood. Yeah, but speaking of Bloodborne, I mean, this is win or lose type of game. You have one arrow, you get hit once, you're dead. So if you guys have the patience for that and want a code, give us a good question. We will pass that along. So now let's continue the Mortal Kombat conversation, and now we do a segment we call Number 11, which is where we have a countdown that is going up this Friday. And the whole reason why people love the bloodbath of a countdown is for the 10 that made it, but mostly for the stuff that didn't. So that's the stuff they can complain about. So we want to address that issue head on and talk about poor, sad number 11, the one that almost made the list but wasn't quite good enough. This is a weird list. This is a list that you might not just be fuming about number 11. I want to come on and talk about specifically why you thought number 11 was a good category for the list. This week's top 10, the top 10 characters we want in Mortal Kombat X.
Rarely do we go this crazy with lists. Any character ever created, any human being.
So this,
could be in
living,
this list.
dead, comic books, film, television, video games, anything you can imagine. So there really is no right or wrong answer. Although number one, I'm happy. I actually did not sit in on deliberation for this because I do not have a long history of Mortal Kombat. But I do like number one on the list. You look like you have creative ideas just flying out of your head.
As a kid, I've always since the 90s. To me, I've always wanted Pennywise.
Pennywise the clown from It. Nice.
Makes perfect
That's
sense.
terrifying.
Finishing moves with some balloons.
Serial killer clown. Oh man, I got
brilliant.
Terrifying.
That is a really good idea.
Maybe
that we
there
did
could
not
be a
think of.
move when he just sort of mirrors himself, and the one that's on the other side does exactly the same moves as you, so you don't know which one you're fighting.
Wow.
We have to invite you to our countdown meetings.
Yeah, horror villains.
Yeah,
Actually, a really
right?
good one. Jason Voorhees is in this one. It seems like a perfect pick. Predator. Yeah, who is It's tough. I think of Predator as more of like a sci-fi film, but that is really a horror film. He's a horror monster.
You guys had Predator on your list? Is that
No,
what
Predator's
you're
coming to
Predator's
MK.
coming.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it
yes.
is, yeah.
I was thinking Predator in Mortal Kombat, but I was going to say we
you-
should go for Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator.
Just
in Mortal Kombat.
okay, just
right.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for come and get me now.
Right. What about
For that
just
all
what
throughout
about
the
just
game.
Schwarzenegger? Period. Just the governor, just in a suit.
Well,
Maybe
but if
like
it's like
Gold's Gym
Schwarzenegger
shirt
and like
ripped up.
twins, not
No?
as terrifying.
Okay,
And,
Kindergarten
well,
Cop, not so much.
terrifying in other ways, but
Right.
yeah.
So before we drag on too long without actually talking about what number 11 is, number 11 is a character called
Solaire.
who's from Dark Souls.
Yes. It
which
turns
I have
out we
not-
like that series.
Which I have not. Yeah, turns out gotta bring up gotta bring up Bloodborne, gotta bring up Dark Souls, gotta bring up Batman. Rules for all GT lives.
Right.
I'm not familiar with this character. Who the heck is Solaire?
Solaire, oh man, he's one of the most famous Dark Souls characters. He's where the Praise the Sun comes from. And the reason we thought Solaire would be fun for the list, even though he didn't make it, is he's very cordial, very polite, very flowery with his language, So I can imagine when he's doing his fatalities, when he sends beams of sunlight to come and fry you, he'll be like, that was a good battle, sir. He'll be very, very polite about it. So I think that's cool because all of the Mortal Kombat characters, like even the good guys, kind of have an edge to them. And so I think it would be neat if Mortal Kombat had its own Dudley,
Right.
Very gentlemanly, but can still totally destroy you.
And just for context and for people at home, for clarification, you're not actually watching Solaire run around. You're watching Brad Ellis in a Solaire outfit, correct, Brad?
Yeah.
So this is you running around dressed up as him.
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
get an
yeah.
idea
I was
of
joking around,
of
yeah.
what he looks like stylistically. Has Mortal Kombat ever had other video game characters in Mortal Kombat? I mean, Smash Brothers, that's what they do. That's really what they go for.
Yes, they did. Kratos was in the PS3 version of Mortal Kombat 9.
Good. You just pulled it right there.
Yeah, well, we've been talking a lot about Mortal Kombat. So
Right, okay.
that came up several times.
You're like, nope, already done it.
Yep.
He's already been in there.
Yep.
So you mentioned we have lots of people saying praise the sun in chat. So you have lots of people. As you were saying before, Sun would be a clear attack.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anything about his moveset or?
The most sorry, I have another fatality to throw
Okay.
at you. This is as creative as we got. We thought that he would have an Estus flask, and he would just make you drink Estus until you exploded. I don't know. It sounds kind of dumb now that I'm saying it out loud, but we laughed at it at the time.
Is that how that would function in Dark Souls? Like, do you get the sense
No.
that if you were to OD on Estus, that would be?
Well, I mean, what is Estus?
You're asking me?
Like, is it's something that just magically heals you? It's this orange liquid? I feel like if you had too much of it, it'd probably be bad. Like, you might explode, right?
Is lore-wise is something, or the potions something? Obviously, you guys dive deep into. You have the book lore and stuff. I mean,
Yes.
So that makes sense.
You
could
can't
just,
take too many potions
Can
in
you
the
OD
Witcher. You can OD
on healing
and actually, if not on healing potions, but that would just be crazy mechanic. Fuck, I'm dying. Oh no, I'm dying more. Take the bad ones.
Yeah,
I don't know how does that work.
Yeah,
you
you
got this.
got a little poison. Just the.
If you take, actually, I believe we've released some screenshots of what happens to Geralt when he drinks too many potions. There are different levels, and you start. Just your veins are coming out a little bit, and the cool thing is that stays in the cutscenes. So say you just killed a monster and you had to pop this really powerful potion, but it took you just on the edge, of the toxicity, and then you had to take another one. You come back to the village and you just look like a zombie, and you're like, done. Give me my money. And then you need to take something to calm down. It's white honey. Take white honey, just like in real life. Got a sore throat, white honey.
So it sounds extreme, but you apparently got to get up pretty early in the morning to get one past CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
They've already been there.
They've been there. They know what they're
Overdosing
talking
on
about.
potions, they're there.
Yeah. I'm going to take that as kind of a total endorsement of our Estus Flask idea, by the way.
But obviously, any character from Dark Souls is no stranger to violence, is no stranger to. Is this an NPC that you meet? Do you ever see this person in combat? You ever fight this person?
You can.
Okay.
Do you want me to spoil Solaire's story or just kind of give you a
No,
vague
please don't
idea?
spoil
Okay.
Dark Souls
All
because
right.
I'm totally playing it right now.
All right. You don't have to be a jerk about it, Brandon. No, you can. Solaire has his own storyline that you have to do very specific things at very specific points, and if you screw that path up, he gets possessed and he fights you, and it's very sad because by that point, you love Solaire.
Oh, well, hopefully you do. But maybe that could work into his character. Maybe that part is one of his fatalities is that he gets consumed. And
Yeah, one of his skins is possessed Solaire.
His skins.
Yeah.
I've yet to get all of the entries. Everybody writes individual entries for the countdown. So are skins and fatalities going to be mentioned in the entries that I'm getting?
For both my entries, I specifically mentioned fatalities that I thought would be cool. So I hope others did that as well.
I feel like you have to when pitching someone for Mortal Kombat.
Right. Just speaking of pitching somebody, did anybody bubble to the surface for you? Anybody you could bring in from anything?
Besides
Would you
Arnold
be a viable
Schwarzenegger.
fighter in Mortal Kombat X?
Oh, me personally?
Yeah, as Wonder Woman, just like.
Oh, Wonder Woman would be okay there, but I feel like we just saw her in Injustice, so
Right.
we're okay with our Wonder Woman
Oh,
fix.
yeah.
I feel like I'd want to go super weird with it, kind of like
Pee Wee Herman.
kind of like the Wii Fit instructor in Smash Bros.
Right
Like
on.
you just got to go super oddball with it. So, I don't know, like throw like a Sonic the Hedgehog in there or something. Just something that does not belong in Mortal Kombat at all, but then you really have to spend the time to make the fatalities awesome.
I think Sonic the Hedgehog is a character that could use some beating up.
I did, right?
Why?
Well,
what do you have
no,
against
he could-
Sonic?
You don't beat up Sonic. You beat up the people who make the Sonic
I think
games.
he's
That's the
been
problem.
he's
Oh,
been
no,
beaten
Sonic.
up enough recently.
Sonic himself.
Sonic himself
Sonic is
is
the victim.
okay. What about
Yeah.
Tails? We'll put Tails in there.
That's even worse. It's even worse.
It's so sad.
I actually did see somebody today on social media. I saw a GIF that was a animated fatality that someone had created in the original, might have been Mortal Kombat 2, of Sonic doing a spin around somebody, and
That's
they,
pretty
like,
awesome.
turned into a tornado and their limbs went flying, and then
Oh,
that
I
had his little
know.
like finishing.
I've got a really good random one. You put a sim in there
Okay.
with the plumb bob
They
and
like
everything.
take off the thing and
Yeah.
jab somebody's eye with
And
it.
it turns red, and then you know you're in trouble.
One of their fatalities is they just trap their opponent in a pool. There's no
Right.
ladder to
course.
get out of the pool, so they just drown.
Yeah.
Ian liked that one. You got Ian. on
That was
I liked it.
funny. That was a good one.
Not to continue talking and showing violent things on GT Live, but we got a badass trailer coming up, and of course we want to keep in the theme of Witcher 3 Wild Hunts. We have the latest gameplay trailer from Witcher 3, which in
Awesome.
truth came out last week, but a week later has maintained its badassdom.
Good.
So
I'm
we
glad.
feel it is relevant to show on GT Live.
It is.
This is a full 4 minutes and 40 seconds of awesomeness coming at you guys. And I wanted to point out one of the things that I think is completely badass about this before we get into detail after the fact, which is the voice of Geralt. Is that in the beginning?
Yeah, that's right.
The voice of Geralt says
Doug
rated
Cockrell.
M for mature in the trailer. And come on, man. How many trailers do you watch where the main character introduces it? Badass trailer. Check it out.
Rated M for mature.
At CD Projekt Red, it has always been our goal to take you on adventures both legendary and grounded in reality. To tell you stories where breathtaking magic, fantastic creatures, and age-old prophecies are interwoven with religious fanaticism, war crimes, even racism.
See her ears, she-elf.
It's this very vision that we've realized in our most ambitious project to date, the open world of the Witcher Wild Hunt.
Welcome, traveler. Drink with me, you cocksucker.
The Northern Realms span a vast continent, filled with remote outposts, quaint villages, and bustling cities of astonishing wealth. Varied landscapes will see you riding into mountain valleys, sailing the open seas, and exploring forgotten temples. However, this land is brimming with conflict. Racial hatred often erupts into violence, and war between the mighty has driven people from their homes. But one plague runs rampant: monsters. They haunt the countryside, breed in city sewers, and rule the wilderness, feasting on merchant caravans. That's where you come in.
Ah, the Witcher. Should have expected as much.
You'll play as a Witcher, a monster slayer for hire, mutated to have superhuman abilities. People might think you're a freak, but everyone can use the help of a professional.
Blood are glowing.
Vampire.
Is it 1358 yet?
No.
Then fuck off.
We put a lot of effort into seamlessly blending gameplay with the surrounding environment. Monster behavior and tactics change depending on the time of day or terrain. It's these shifting circumstances that will often determine if you are hunter or prey. Clear an area of monsters, and you'll witness people settling in, transforming dangerous areas into sprawling hubs where you can buy and sell gear. Hundreds of armor and weapon upgrades await you, but it's the way you fight that makes all the difference. Invest in sword skills to develop special moves. Level up your alchemy skills and gather rare herbs to create potions and bombs. Or master the arcana of magic signs and annihilate your foes with a twist of your fingers.
She's returned, Geralt. After all these years.
In The Witcher Wild Hunt, you take on the greatest contract of your life to track down the Child of Prophecy, a living weapon that can alter the shape of the world.
And if you find her, the girl will die.
You might be a killer for hire,
Witches?
but you decide what kind of man you are.
Gonna say who you are? Or do I need to loosen your tongue with me knife?
Indulge your human side.
How about I buy everybody around?
Bottoms up.
Or choose the path of a ruthless outcast, adhering to your own brand of justice.
Go away, or I'll kill you.
And watch the world burn. Whoever you are, in the Northern Realms you'll find what you're looking for. Whether it's horse racing, getting drunk, following your heart, or just satisfying your passion. Playing cards, brawling, discovering places of power, hunting treasure, or joining in ancient rituals. Forge your own adventure in the most realistic fantasy of our times. Welcome to The Witcher Wild Hunt.
awesome details. One of my favorite publishers is Rockstar, and that a lot of people were making jokes when the trailer started. They're like, "Welcome to Los Santos," because it feels like the trailers that they do, where it's like, okay, here are all the specific things you need to know about the game, and so much information revealed in such a short amount of time. A great primer for the questions that you guys should be asking the way at the end of the show. So it's like, oh well, I got all those answered, so I'll ask different questions.
It's a trailer for my mom.
Oh, nice. To fill her in on everything.
It should be. And I'm sorry, Mom, she doesn't speak English, so it's okay. But basically, it's like it needs to be so well made that someone who doesn't even know anything about games can look at it and say, I understand what this is about. I understand who I will play as. I understand the sort of experiences and adventures I will have. And also, I know I can play card games. I can horse race, and that's all you need to know.
And you mentioned that you had a cool soundbite about Geralt, about the voice actor, maybe in association with the trailer.
Yeah, where you were talking about because you said at the beginning he actually Doug, who's the Doug Cockle, who's the voice. He did the rated M for. I can't do it. He's got such a sexy voice, but he's really really cool actually. He will just do pickups like that. He's an American who lives in the UK actually. He teaches acting. At university, I forgot which one, down south, I think. But one day we got a really nice email from a fan. And the rule at CD Projekt is we have to reply to every single email.
Wow.
Wow.
Always. Yeah, but that's the way it is. If someone takes the time to even send us like a nasty email, you need
Send
to understand.
a nasty one back?
No, never. No. You need to understand why. Maybe they're misinformed. Maybe they're upset because, guys, you said you were going to do free DLC, and now you say you're going to do some expansions, and you're going to charge money. What the fuck? And you go, all right, no problem. Let me explain to you. And then you explain. And then 9 times out of 10, they reply and they say, oh, thanks. I'm very sorry. Maybe I was a bit too harsh. Like, everyone calling me a fucking dickhead. It's fine. It is fine.
It happens.
Monday morning. Dear Damien, I hate you.
Translation, hello, how are you on the internet? That's how that works.
But to finish the story, this guy sent us an email. He says, I'm getting married soon. I want to propose to my girlfriend, who's a massive fan. Is there anything you could do? Maybe like some swag and I think it was, I forgot who it was, but it was part of our PR team, and they said they actually didn't tell the guy, but said, what's her name? Tell us when. Okay, and they got Doug. They asked him nicely, can you do a soundbite for that dude and say, I don't know what her name is, Trisha. Will you marry me? Blah blah blah. And he had this whole thing, and then we sent it to the guy, and he was like, I love you guys. We're like, no, we love you.
Well, that could backfire. She's like, now I want to marry Geralt.
Yeah.
I mean, you're when you put it that way.
That is so cool.
Yeah, but I wanted you to know because he's a cool guy, and I think cool people deserve.
Extremely cool, yeah.
Deserve to know.
You all sound like you're awesome at CD Projekt Red. We're all super jelly that you're all the way over there on the other side of the ocean, making these amazing games that Mr. Daniel Bloodworth is so into. He's read the books, man. That's how deep. That's how deep it goes.
Reading is, I'm not very good on my reading schedule. But I've got a good ways into him.
But we appreciate his expertise. He'll be reviewing the game when it comes out. And we brought him up here to talk about our editorial segment for today. Since we have you on, and since there's so many different varied things that you can do in Witcher, we thought it was a good time to talk about quests in general, and what makes a good quest, and really what makes a good side quest. Because you have your main, you're talking about, somebody coasted through the game in 25 hours, and I'm imagining that's based on the things that you need to do. You can't just go bum rushing all the way to the last boss and finish the game.
That's correct.
There's a progression that you need to take. Then there's things outside of that. And I mean, is side quests a bad name to use, or how do you approach making a side quest that's people want to play?
We have side quests, and then we have minor quests, which are really small, but we spend a lot of effort into that. I mean, what it takes to make a good quest ultimately is a good quest designer and a good writer. I'm neither of them. I'm a gameplay designer, but I can tell you that often I will play quests that because people will update the servers. You know how it works. I come in in the morning and I use this program that will fetch people's work from the day before, and then I get things updated and things pop up in the game as I just play it, and then you'll see a guy in the middle of the field. I'm like, I don't remember him. And you go speak to him, and he goes, oh, can you help me? I need something. And you go, that's pretty straightforward. It might be a fetch quest, even though we have very, very few. We don't like those particularly. But if you were to do a fetch quest, fine, but at least spend some time developing the character that asks you to fetch the item. maybe the quest isn't about the item that you're going to fetch, but the actual journey there. And that's this one in particular. I don't want to spoil it, but it was really cool because I had to go from A to B, and I had to help this guy who was walking with me. And as we're walking there, he tells me his story, and my view on him totally changes, which means that once we get there, I choose to do something, whereas before I didn't want to do it. And there we go. That's all I'm going to say. There's lots of cool things and that's like a 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, but it's super cool.
So, Mr. Bloodworth, what's a bad quest? So you mentioned fetch quests. That's something that fetch quests and escort quests I see pop up a lot about stuff that really frustrates people.
It's not necessarily bad, like I said. If you do, you can do it, but you can do like this amazingly complex quest. But if you don't care about the people that ask you to make it, why would I go fetch your toothbrush?
Right.
You know.
You want to know what a bad quest is? A bad quest is Assassin's Creed 1 on the PS3, where you go around picking up a bunch of flags and it doesn't do anything.
That's not like a quest.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, but I mean,
activity that you can do.
You spend a lot of time doing that. That's like what you're doing, and
I didn't.
It does no good.
You're not showing me where these feathers are. I'm not gonna go find.
And I think too, like there's an element of like you can just throw a bunch of stuff on the map, but if there's not really any joy in discovering that, like if everything is on the map. And you don't ever have that moment where you walk into some place and you find something that you didn't know was there. You just, oh, well, that was already on the map. I'll do that one, and I'll do that one. And then you don't see anything because you know everything is going to be laid out right in front of you.
Mm-hmm. So there were no quests that you just outright were like, we're not doing these types of things because we know people don't like them. Always the approach was like, we got to make people interested. We got to make people, like you said, care for these people you're doing quests
it's not just about people. It's about us. We're gamers.
Right.
Why would we make a product that we wouldn't want to play? It's the quest designers do an excellent job, and they take a lot of pride in their work, and they wouldn't dare create this quest that others would go, well, that's a bit boring, isn't it?
But you must have said that. You must have said that at least once during development. Kind of like, I don't know how to break it to you, but we're just not feeling this one quest.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But maybe it's because again they misunderstand some things. Maybe it needs a bit more dialogue. Maybe it could be many things. Of course, we'd never nail it first time, but the idea that if basically it's bad and you've done your best, don't have it in. Simple as that. You've tried. Maybe it doesn't work.
Now, one of the things that you guys are doing differently in this one is the monster hunting. It's really amped up. It's almost like a Sherlock Holmes kind of mystery thing going on. How much of that was sort of as a result of not wanting to just have the go kill 5 wolves check mark?
Oh no, that was totally go kill 5 wolves. Yeah, we have some of those with a twist that purposely sort of make fun of, like, go fetch me 10 squirrels. But no, those are actually because as a wisher you are a monster slave for hire. So you need those monsters. You need those big set pieces, something that will one-shot you if you're not careful. Because that's now that we can finally do it, now that it's an open world, we can have this gameplay mechanic where you just track a beast. It could take you days, and then on top of that you have all these other mechanics that we have, like the weather system, and you're just meditating in the middle of a forest. It's 2 a.m. It's raining. But you have to prepare, because if you're not prepared, you're gonna die. And then suddenly you're meditating, but there's a monster that's attacking you whilst you're meditating. And you're like, and and then your beard is longer, and you're like, I gotta shave. And that's technically not part of the monster hunting thing, because it's all these little mechanics that tag on, and it's only now that we can do it. So yeah, nothing to do with not having fetch me 10 whatever. It's really okay. Now we need to do this.
Trisha, before we wrap things up and get into our Q&A, are there quests that you hate?
Like Damien said, if it doesn't have a fleshed out storyline, if there aren't 3-dimensional characters, then it's boring. I don't care if I help Joe Schmo at the armory find his letter from who knows what that I never got any background on. I don't care about that. I mean, yay, golden XP, but okay. But when you actually have the characters you care about, the stories you care about, you want to do that whether you're getting something in return or not. Or at least I do when I'm gaming.
I agree.
I can't let any quest stand, man. Especially in Warcraft. You mentioned like Warcraft. Like if there's any exclamation points out there. Like,
Oh, you're
I
a
got
total
it.
depletionist, huh?
I don't care. It's just well, it's just you see them. You know, you see them in the environment. Unless you're above a level. That's actually nice. You're like 10 levels above something in Warcraft. It's just all those like silly lower quests go away. But thank you, Mr. Blood. We're a little short on time. But thank you for coming up from the editorial segment. And Mr. Kyle Bosman, are you prepared, Kyle? Are you ready? Are you ready for Q&A? Mr. Kyle Bosman has been taking the questions. Hopefully we got some good questions directed, of course, at Trisha. We're not going to turn out any awesome Trisha questions.
Sure, but the more interesting ones are for Damien.
But this man does not live in the United States.
Right.
So it is not very often we get the opportunity. Menacing to you, sir.
And how often are you live on the internet?
Never.
Right.
Right?
I don't think, no.
This is the point.
So he is ready. Kyle Bosman, welcome
Hi.
welcome to the table.
Hey, table.
Welcome to GT
How
Live,
you
everybody.
doing?
Hi,
How's the
Kyle.
audience doing? How's everybody
Well,
at
I
home?
don't know. I mean, you're the one I've been talking to. How is the audience doing, Kyle?
The audience is actually very focused on our conversation. You know, it's a very active audience today, which is pretty cool.
That's great.
Yeah, I really always appreciate that, everybody.
And once more again for due diligence, we are giving away 5 codes for Titan Souls, which is currently available on what?
Steam.
Mr. Bloodworth, is it on Steam and consoles, or just on Steam?
It's also on PS4 and I think Vita as well.
Oh,
all right.
But I'm giving out Steam codes.
Oh no!
Can I give out some stuff as well? Because we were told, yeah, there's gonna be an audience, so we brought a lot of swag. We didn't realize it'd be online. So if you ask, I don't know, what should we? I've got lots of
So we have 5. We're hopefully gonna get to 5. Do we have 5 good questions, Kyle?
We have 5 questions.
We got 5 good questions.
Right.
All right.
And if we can work out, because we never really are sure where people are in the world and how much money it'll cost to send people stuff where and how long it'll get to them, or if people are willing to give us their private information. So.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So Damien has come with a bunch of swag that we will possibly be handing on to you guys.
This right here.
Not this
possibly
particular
be
one. But
so if you guys did get one of your
Damien's
questions
chest.
answered on the show, you might get some extra stuff as well.
growing,
But just don't want to make any promises. You don't want to be like, everyone gets a shirt, and then people don't get
Oh,
shirts.
boy.
How do you
and
feel about
everyone's angry.
somebody? How do you feel about somebody wearing that shirt who hasn't had their hands on The Witcher 3?
well, yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I know. But actually, that's
You're a
why I
liar.
brought some that don't say that. It's the Geralt's face.
Oh, okay.
See?
Okay.
Yeah, we got it covered. We got all the bases.
Should I not wear mine until I actually get my hands on The Witcher 3?
Be all right. I've
Just
got,
put it in the shelf and then just
got
like
killed with me. I was
set an
actually
alarm in my
playing
phone May
earlier on.
19th. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I can play the game today, but even better,
I can
wear
wear
the
my
shirt.
Ding.
I actually don't even have to play the game. I just have to touch it. All right, Kyle.
All right, Damien, we got a softball for you. I'm going to start with a softball.
Great.
Just going to lob this one at you. Oh, I'm sorry, I lost it. There it is. This is from Skyrim's Legend. What are the systems behind the wildlife? Is the wildlife's AI more in depth than in a lot of games you have personally seen?
Okay, so 2 things actually. That's 2 bits. The system for the wildlife and their AI, which are 2 separate things. Because
Okay.
the AI of a sheep is pretty basic, you know, or
Want
a
to
goat.
eat.
Yeah, they will be attracted to certain bushes, and the AI will say, "Hey, there's a bush that you like within the radius. What? Go eat that bush." So you go, right? I mean, I don't know. If I were a goat, that's what I would do.
That's a
Naturally.
bush, yeah.
Right.
And so you go. Let's just stop because I can't keep the. So the goat would go, and that's pretty much it. Or within the radius, is there an enemy or something that you don't like or that you're scared of? Which, as a goat, is pretty much everything, except other goats. So the eye can be pretty simple, but the cool thing is with the system is that if I kill that goat is going to produce a smell, and the smell is going to be extended into a certain radius. And if there's a monster in that radius that likes that type of meat, say fresh goat meat, they will be attracted to it. Or if the body is rotting, it's rotten meat, and that will be a different kind of monster. Suddenly, you know, the eye is, it's a stupid goat, but the system allows for the wildlife to be attracted to each other and move around. And if I kill, if I kill all the deers in an area, you might see some wolves patrolling, but wolves, if there were deers there would probably be more because they're chasing a deer. Do you know what I mean? It's so organic. It's really difficult to predict it. You just have to trust your system. Actually, I did a really good talk. I did a talk. I was really proud of it because it got best talk of EGX, which is the English.
Nice.
Yeah, you know it.
I don't know
you
what
know
EGX. What is that?
It's. Are you serious?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it's basically the 3 of England. It's much smaller. It's in London, but it's really cool. And so there were dev talks, and I did mine. I was really stressed. I was peeing a lot. And I went there and I was wired on Red Bull.
You were peeing a lot?
Peeing, that's what I do.
Me too.
During the speech.
When I'm playing games, when I have to do live stuff, absolutely.
I was there just before we went on.
Yeah.
I asked her, can I go, please? Like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, I've got to go.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I get that. Okay,
Thanks,
so
man.
drinking lots of Red Bull, peeing a lot. And
then go on stage wired, but with an empty bladder, which is good. And I'm just doing this thing, and people are like, oh, this guy's really passionate. I'm like, yeah, but I'm also wired on Red Bull. And I got it won best dev talk of the show, so I was really proud.
So you were onto something there. That's a good combo.
It's cool because you see that people. It's a good combo. I'm wired. I'm pissing myself. Woo. But yeah. So anyway, the point is, I think you can have a look on YouTube. I mean, I could talk about it for a long time. But if you're interested in that stuff, Skyrim. Whoever, I forgot
Skyrim's Legend was the person's name.
Legend.
Yeah.
Clearly someone who enjoys quality RPG, open world RPG games.
Follow-up question real quick. If I like a goat, if I find a goat that I like, can I keep that goat?
You can okay, so we have this spell called Axie, which is a mind controlling spell that you can level up. So it works on enemies. You might confuse them. Later on, you might send one to attack one of his mates and so on, or Axie multiple. Anyway, you can use that on animals as well. Some animals, so the goats might think that you are their leader, so they'll follow you for a little bit.
Kind of have a goat familiar for a while.
Yeah, they're not gonna attack, and they're not gonna run away if monsters attack you, which is very silly. So they're probably gonna die super quick. So Steven comes in like, oh, Steven, you're my best friend, and then.
You realize you just challenged somebody. Somebody out there is like,
I want to play through
it.
a Steven playthrough.
I have no doubt. We're gonna have naked playthroughs. Yeah. We're gonna have goat playthroughs. I'm 100%. I can't wait. I really can't wait to see what people are gonna do. So yeah.
Next question comes from BarrelBot. Question for Damien. When developing a game like The Witcher, do you try to find aspects of the story, in this case the source material, that allow for the introduction of new gameplay features, or is the story shifted around a lot to allow for gameplay ideas? Which comes first?
That's actually a really good question. No, it's, I would say, a bit of both, but you wouldn't. Yeah, that's really weird, actually. Okay, give you an example. We had, and that's very rare. Okay, this is very rare, but we had this thing that we actually don't have in the game, and we've cut almost nothing. We'd rather, believe it or not, we'd rather push a date than cut anything from the game.
Sure.
Did you know that? And basically, it's ice skating. And that's in the books actually. Where
so you're reading the book and you're like, oh god, we gotta add ice skating.
It's not. God, we've got to. It would be cool, wouldn't it? And then you try and you prototype it, and there were different reasons why we cut it. Some people thought it was silly, which is a fair point. I really liked it personally because it was quite smooth, and you sort of left-right trigger for the skates until you pick up a speed, and then you could. Oh, it was really cool. I wanted back. You pirouette, and you can slice heads. And I remember it was Edward. Big up to the coder that worked on it. I was so proud of it. I remember he grabbed me to his desk and he's like, check this. Slice people in half. But ultimately, and that's a big no-no in gameplay rules. If you're gonna put me in a fight with a new mechanic that I've never used before, I'm gonna get pissed off because I'm probably gonna die because I haven't had a chance to master it. Right. Which means that if you're gonna have this big fight on a frozen lake, you need to introduce skating way before. And then suddenly you go into the realms of, okay, now we need in the story to explain why she would just suddenly grab her skates and go, let's go ice skate. It's like, isn't the Wild Hunt chasing you? Fuck it.
And then you would have to add skates for the goats. It would honestly, it'd be so much extra. This is
I have an insert question really quick.
Okay.
My wife is in chat and wants to know if that is a Deathly Hallows necklace.
It is.
Okay. Deathly Hallows confirmed. Please continue, Kyle. Harry Potter fans out there, Deathly Hallows confirmed.
This is from DMax3901. In the latest overview trailer, which was incredible by the way, there was an implication that when you clear an area of monsters, villagers and merchants will move in. Is this a very simple mechanic or is it quite complex?
It can be complex, but it is also quite simple. Worst answer ever. Actually, that's also on the EGX talk. I talk a lot about that. But yes, so you see it happening, and that particular one happens in the prologue area at the beginning, and we put a cutscene so that you understand the mechanic. You understand, oh, okay, so I killed those things, and that's why you see the camera panning around, and you see these guys from the side, and we make sort of a big deal out of it. It's like, now there are people in this village, and they weren't before. That's not going to be the case all the time. It's not always as black and white. You don't just walk into a village, kill people, and then you'll have this little cutscene that brings people back. We have different states. For different, man, I could talk about this for an hour, but I'm trying not to go too deep into the mechanics.
Get deep in those mechanics. Yeah, we got time. Let's do it.
But yeah, you walk somewhere, and then the game will ask, okay, do you want me to spawn these things? And then before the game will check what you've done, what you haven't done. So, for example, if you say killed a cat. This is an example, right? This doesn't happen. You kill a cat. Okay, I'm going to spawn 10 rats. Why? Because you killed a cat, therefore there will be rats everywhere, which makes sense, right? It's not a straightforward organic thing where we spawn more rats for every hour of gameplay you don't have a cat in. Does that make sense, right?
Right.
You're still there, all right.
Yeah.
But so we have stuff like that. Whenever you walk somewhere, the game will try to see what you've done, what you haven't done, who you've helped, who you've killed, the decisions you've made as well during quest and dialogue. That can change a lot of stuff, including people that spawn in a village, as simple as it is. So it's simple, but it can get complex because of the branching.
I have a question. If I want many cats to appear,
I'm gonna stop giving you examples.
What should I do to make the cats appear?
You get a goat to follow you first.
Okay, yeah.
Go to a bush.
Yes.
And then after that...
No, you kill 10 wolves.
Right.
Sure.
Or dogs. Or just, yeah.
This question is from Nate Stoppable. Do monsters level with your character in Witcher 3, or are there any endgame areas designed with highly powerful character builds in mind?
So, no, then yes. They don't scale with you. Monsters will not scale with you. Actually, just... I think it was an hour and a half before we started this show. I was playing the game because I got a build with me, of course, and I was trying to kill this.
Hold on, what are you?
So you just got your hands on The Witcher?
I got my hands on The Witcher.
You shouldn't be traveling with that.
Don't worry, it's super protected.
Okay, all right.
That
makes me very nervous.
Trust me. Trust me, it makes me nervous.
I just want to point out there's 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9 of us and only 2 of you. So I just want to put that out there.
It's crazy protected, trust me. But the point is, I have my own challenge right now, which I'm trying to kill this fiend, which is a huge creature, and I'm only level 17 in the save that I have, and he is 20 something, and I do almost no damage.
And you can register his level, so you can tell. So if you confront an enemy in the game, it's like, well, either I might be doing something, because there's when Blood, with his experience of it, he's like, there's a lot of things you can do, that'll affect the fight. You have to know like what type of weapon, right? There's a poison I can throw. There's other things.
Correct. You have that too.
So I wonder if it's kind of difficult for me as a player to recognize, like, is there something specifically I'm not doing that can make this a lot easier, or am I just not prepared for this? I should just walk away and come back later.
All right, so the different stages. First, you'll see the level of the enemy, unless the level is a skull, which
stay away.
Means please come. I like to smile.
Yeah.
I like smiling. Do you like smiling? Dead. So there's that. Now, say you see it's much higher level, and you don't know what type of enemy it is. You can do your research. You can read about it. You can talk to people about it, and they will tell you. And your bestiary, which is a lot of, it's like a thing in your inventory, which will give you some text. That will populate itself, and so you can go, okay, so that monster he lives there. I am very likely to see him at this time of day. He or she will be vulnerable to such potion or whatever, and so on and so on. And before you know it, you know exactly how to kill it. But we're not going to stop you from facing it if you know nothing about it. So you can just go out there, see a monster, even if it's got a skull. If you want to go for it, go for it.
Well, it's like the Steven run through, the Steven the Goat run through. You know, it's like that. Just seems like a game that you can pop up with a lot of those challenges. Where you're just like, I'm going to try to take that guy down.
Yeah, the cool thing is you still get you get the reward. It will take you a long time. Your sword might get super damaged, and you will definitely get one shot if it's too high. But go for it. I like that.
So this one you're having a hard time with. You just haven't done enough research on it.
It's just really high level, and I don't have the right gear, but I think I know where to go. I say I think because quite recently, because we have.
If you don't know, we're all screwed.
No, because they've changed a lot of the stuff. Now you got to understand. You make a game and it's cool, it's fun, it plays well, and at the end you see that the balance is like crazy, you know. And then with an open world where you can go anywhere, that's even crazier. So we had to do some tweaks fairly recently that involved moving gear around. And we also have a system actually, which is pretty cool. So we have these epic sword, you know. You've got to go somewhere, you kill a badass thing, and you get this epic sword. Now sometimes you might get gear that is too high level for you. And we found that it was a bit frustrating. You do a lot, and then you get this sword, and you won't be able to have it or use it for 3 levels. So you carry it with you, or you put it on your horse, because you can use your horse as inventory as well, but you might forget about it. I don't know. Point is, it doesn't work. We need to change that. We need to make a better system. A system that maybe says, okay, I'm a sword. Again, I keep using sword. I am a bottle.
Right.
And I do 10 damage. Just a random number. Do 10 damage, okay? And you need to be level 21. Now, also, there's a probability that people will catch fire with me, because that makes sense. I'm a bottle.
Yeah.
Now, you come along, you level 17, you get this loot, and the sword will sort of adapt itself so that you can use it sooner than you would otherwise.
But it won't be as effective.
But it won't be as effective. It will keep its core elements, all right? The damage might change. Okay. Now,
so it'll still do fire damage.
Yeah, probably. It depends on the item, but the one in particular would, yeah.
This bottle of water.
This bottle of water.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about this is that it actually works. It sounds like you would have people that say, you know, you get a sword and you got this bottle of water, and like, I should have waited a few levels, because then I would have had a better version of it. But that's beside the point. The point is you need to go forward. You need to go and explore. You will always be guaranteed quality loot that you can use either now or very soon. Does that make sense?
But the bottle wouldn't level up as you level up.
No. Once it's set, once you grab it from the thing, it has its set stats. But that's something that works really well. You know, it's all about going forward and getting new stuff. Oh, awesome! And then you get something else, awesome, and you get better. Otherwise, you wait, and that's not right.
So our last question, very related to this actually. This is from One Last Spartan. Are there ultimate weapons, like in Final Fantasy? Is there just one ultimate thing that is going to be better than all the other weapons?
One ultimate weapon?
Yeah.
The fact that you have already, you're a Witcher, so you have 2 swords. You always have your silver and your steel one. So it wouldn't be right to just have one silver sword that is ultimate. But no, you don't have that. You have, and also it depends, because maybe you're not into weapons at all. Maybe what you're into are spells. Not just.
Is there an ultimate spell? Is there a spell that's like Meteor? Do you know what I mean? Is there a spell that's just like way better than all the others?
No. Each spell has like let's say a more badass version if you spend all the points. But even then, even spells that we've tried to change that as well, because people in Witcher 2 said some of the spells they never used them because they weren't good enough. So we tried to change that with Axie by allowing you to Axie your horse, for example, so it doesn't panic during combat. But all those little things, you know. Axie is actually really cool now. And Quen as well. Quen was a bit OP. Quen is a shield, by the way. Because you guys haven't played the game, have you?
Yeah, Quen.
No idea, no research.
Quen, the shield.
Quen the shield. But even Quen can be defensive. Quen can maybe give you health when when people hit you. Or maybe it can be offensive. Maybe it can explode upon being destroyed. So
can I throw it on David?
You got David?
Yeah.
I thought it was Steven.
Steven, can I throw it on Steven?
No, you can't. Quen Steven.
Okay.
You can't Quinn Steven, man. What are you
I'd
talking
really
about?
love
But you
to
can
Quinn
axie
Steven.
Steven.
I can axie Steven and then put him close to me, and I'm quinned right now.
You're Quinned?
Yeah.
You should just give them a list of all the things you want to do in this
no.
game, and they'll just cross all of them off. Like, no.
You can't do that. Sorry, man.
You have this idea of this player that's going to do these terrible things in your game. That's me.
You can be naked the whole game. Did you know that?
Well, you
That I can
still
go
have
naked?
to wear underwear. But
Oh, you have to wear underwear.
Yeah. I know. Dude, we had a
If you want to.
massive conversation about that.
Wait,
in the
did you
office.
honestly? Was that a real conversation in the
Yeah,
office?
it's a very.
I want to know that.
serious business, man.
I want to know what
It's
both sides said. So there was like an all-nude team.
both sides. We want
Yeah.
dicks in our game, and the other
Yeah.
side said no, we don't need dicks.
Yeah,
There you go.
that
It's
side won.
extra. It's extra vertices, and who's gonna animate it when you run? Are you gonna do this job? No, but I'm dead serious. They're like,
You wanted to know, Kyle.
It's extra
we've already pushed the game twice. Yeah, but come on,
There's only so
You
many
gotta call up
polygons
the
you can add
people
to
from
Geralt.
Mount Your Friends and ask about the dick physics specifically.
No, but that's
Yeah.
a valid thing. And also they were saying, look, we're showing a lot of female nudity. We should show a lot more male nudity because we don't want to.
That's fair, yeah.
And which is a totally fair point. So we do show male nudity, and you'll see. But yeah, sorry, man, no dicks.
Okay, no, that's fine.
You're gonna end on that, Kyle. That's your last question. Did we get through 5?
That was 5 questions. That was
5 awesome questions.
5 for
Thanks so much,
5.
Kyle.
Yeah. Well, thank you, chat. Thanks for giving us 5 great questions. But actually, there were probably 20 or 25 great questions. There was a lot of great ones.
And because this has been such a Witcher-dominated episode, Trisha, is there anything you want to wrap up? Any questions that you have for Damien? Any comments you want to make?
There were so many amazing questions. Any questions that I have for Damien? Can you hang out longer?
Yeah, we are a little bit over time, but man, we're talking about some
Cool,
really
I
fun
can talk
stuff.
about it for hours.
You are fascinating to talk to. Like, I want to keep you with me on a daily basis. Like, we'll Skype or something. So that you can
They're
still
gonna
go
kill
home.
me in
But
the office, you know. I'm gonna go back there. What did you tell them? I complained about the dicks and no.
we talked a lot
It's a
about
fair
dicks.
point.
It was perfect. No, this has been awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me on, and this is fascinating conversation on a random Wednesday.
And this will certainly not be the last time that you'll be on the G2 live stage.
Certainly not.
We're gonna sucker you into doing E3 coverage with us.
I
and
love
of course
that.
We'll have you back on.
That's absolutely perfect.
Anything fantasy related, we should just have you on. If that chair is ever empty for a
And
guest
it's
talking about
fantasy.
anything fantasy,
Yeah,
we need to get you up in that
absolutely.
chair.
That's well, I wonder. And okay, here's a question: was there anything you took from tabletop fantasy gaming to put into this game specifically? I mean, I know a lot of fantasy role-playing video games do pull from traditional gaming mechanics from tabletop. but-
I'm a massive fan of. As a designer, I believe that if you want to be a good designer, you need to have a look at tabletop, board games and so on and so on. I designed Gwent with a bunch of cool friends. Gwent is a card game that we have in the game. Actually, Dan's gonna be pleased because we do have this thing where you can go around and collect the flags. Only they are cards, and you can build your own deck. And we have 4 factions, and it's a very quick game. It's like 10 minutes maximum. That was one of the things I was told. If you want to make a mini game, it's got to be 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so we designed it. It works really well. It's just a really cool game.
Can you win
collect-
money playing it?
Yeah, you can win money playing
Nice.
it. You can buy new cards. You can win some of them. You can even enter a tournament. And there's a big tournament with all of the best Gwent players in the realm, and there are quests linked to that as well. It's really cool.
That's really cool. Here's a question though: if I'm at the tournament and I lose, can I then murder everyone?
Well,
not that particular. No.
Oh, okay.
No, you can't.
I gotta play by the rules. Once the cards are on the table, like we set our swords aside.
The tavern's a
But-
no-kill zone.
Yeah.
No. Once you're in that tournament, so that you don't make a mess. Because the thing is, when you're in a city with guards, you can't just do this to people,
Yeah.
or you can't flick your fingers and have, igni. Like you see a candle and you want to turn it on, you do this, and the candle will go.
Little prestidigitation.
But they don't like that because it's magic. So they
Yeah,
will
yeah.
tell you once. They'll be like, we don't like your kind here, and if you do it again, then they'll punch you and they'll knock you out, take your money, and it's so no.
Basically, Kyle's gonna get into a lot of trouble.
No, I'll be cool. Once that tournament starts, do you want to make this game in real life? You made a card game.
We have, actually, that's something I'm really pumped, because that as a designer, my dream is always to get a board game, create my own board game or card game, but it's tricky, it's difficult, financially as well if you're self-published. So what happened is we have it. You can have it with the Xbox One special edition. You get 2 decks. You get the Northern Realm decks and the Nilfgaardian decks, both with unique ways of playstyles.
And you have a board game. There is a Witcher board game.
We have a board game as well. We got comic books. We got a lot. Like the trailer that you saw, it's in-house. Everything will be in-house because we take great pride and we got OCD and we're control freaks. But everything that we do, whether it's a board game or all that, at some point will come through the studio. It will need to be approved by us, if not whole designed by us. Like the card game, it was designed by us, 100%. All the cards, it was cool, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
and a good question, Kyle, because when I lose to Hearthstone playing Ben Moore, I want to light him on fire. So that's interesting. I'm actually curious to explore that in the game and see. Mr. Ben Moore, of course, playing Mortal Kombat X on the table. The couch has maintained. Mike Huber is still here. Why are you here, Mike Huber? You're sick, man.
Blast over here.
You're having a blast.
They had a duel going on, like 7 matches in a row.
So I'm just going to come out and say it before we wrap the show up. Easily the most distracting game that we've had here on GT Live. Not only are like heads exploding right next to me. Normally we got Goro here, which a lot of players are potentially missing out on.
Pay up.
Because you got to cough up $5 or pre-order the game.
Yeah.
Just nothing but snickering going on over there. At one point, we went out to the PS4 menu. I'm not sure what happened. If there was like button mashing.
Ben almost uninstalled the game.
Shinnok is a bad character. Okay.
That's a DQ.
Ben would pay $4.99 for Shinnok to not be in the game.
Yeah, seriously. I don't like Shinnok.
So are we still discovering things? Like the uncontrollable laughing and snickering? Does that come from fatalities we haven't seen, or like character interactions that you haven't seen yet?
Nothing new.
Nothing new?
Nothing new.
You guys are just unprofessional. That's why you're just interrupting our Witcher conversation with your Mortal Kombat snickering over there.
It's getting heated over here.
It's a game that must be snickered at.
Fighting games usually get pretty heated.
Brett Ellis is holding his hand over his mouth, holding back laughter right now. That is how intense it is over on the couch.
It's over.
We're back.
A game to love, maybe not a game to take seriously. But an intense story. I mean, I know the story in Witcher is intense, but in Mortal Kombat, intense. Tons of cutscenes, lots of characters to go into, and of course we can play Mortal Kombat X. We can talk about The Witcher for hours, but we got to wrap up the show. Really quickly, I want to talk about some awesome stuff that you can see on game trailers this week. Now that I got you up here, Kyle.
Sure.
Dumb Game Monday is a new thing that you can check out. Not only on, are we archiving those on our YouTube page?
I'll archive them. Oh, not on YouTube. They're not going to be on YouTube.
They're not going to be on YouTube. You can only catch those right here, twitch.tv/GameTrailers, every Monday. When?
2 p.m. Pacific
Every Monday
time.
at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with Mr. Kyle Bosman.
Well, you put my lower up again. Nice.
Oh, wait, is it over? Yeah, I had the wrong side.
Are you playing dumb games?
So I play.
What gave you that idea?
Yeah,
Just guess.
I'm playing 2-hour chunks of a dumb game every week. I'm playing the same game, so I'm learning to love a dumb game like we did when our parents used to buy us games, and you just got that game.
And too bad. That's your only game for this
But we
year.
all learned to love them. We learned to love dumb games throughout our lives.
I remember
so it's about capturing
Faxonadu
that.
for the NES. I snuck under the tree and opened up. That was I wonder what it is. Just open up the side to get a peek. Faxonadu.
What does Faxonadu?
That's what I thought.
Okay.
And then I played the game for 5 hours, and I still wasn't sure what the hell Faxonadu was. Full playthrough Friday for Faxonadu might have to happen for me to eventually see at the end of that game.
Okay.
Faxonadu, if you're a fan, you join me for that?
I do not know that game, but I will certainly join you for weird old NES games at any time.
Cool. So yeah, maybe grab Trisha for Dumb Game Monday.
Yeah, super fun.
She might really dig that. Lord knows I won't be watching. Just Plays this week are really great. Mr. Ben Moore recently went to a Bandai Namco event, covered lots of games. We had lots of Just Plays that are lots of games crammed into one episode. Talked about a bunch of games he saw there. Talked to Andrea Renee about a ton of cool stuff that she saw at a recent Sony Digital event. Of course, as we mentioned before, our review of Mortal Kombat X going up tonight in its full form. You might have seen the the smaller form, but now the full fatality form of our Mortal Kombat X review with a score is going up on GameTrailers.com and on YouTube. The Pillars of Eternity review, right, Ben? Right? Coming? Happening? Soon? It's happening. It's coming soon. That is not an easy game to get through, but Ben Moore's making it happen. As we mentioned before, of course, our GT Countdown, the top 10 characters we want in Mortal Kombat X. None of them will happen. We don't care. We're talking about it anyway.
Pennywise.
And, of course, our regular... Pennywise, the excellent suggestion that we completely glossed over.
That's a really good one, man.
Pennywise is number 12 on our list. And of course, our regular staple of awesome shows, Final Bosman, Tabletop, GT Time, Mandatory Update, and Bonus Round, you can check out on our schedule. You can visit us on and subscribe to us on twitch.tv/GameTrailers, youtube.com/GameTrailers, and youtube.com/c/GT Reviews, where you can check out the archive of this show. And we are streaming Black Rock Mountain, which I unfortunately will not be around for, Ben. I'm gonna be at another event tomorrow. I will not be around for that stream. I'm writing checks my body can't cash. I made promises to Ben Moore that I would be around and play Hearthstone, which is something I love to do. But Ben will be playing the Black Rock Mountain, which 2 wings are now open for the recent expansion to Hearthstone. And speaking of Mortal Kombat X, Friday will be a Mortal Kombat X tournament in the GT offices, which I will also not attend because I'll be at some other stupid event. And also because I will lose that event miserably if I do stick around, so maybe it's for the best. You're okay with being embarrassed live.
I'm just super okay with it. I'm fine with like losing first round. People want to see me lose a game. I'm cool with it.
You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can visit GameTrailers.com, which is a super fun activity. I recommend you doing it. Witcher Wild Hunt comes out on May 19th. Thank you so much, Damien Monnier, for coming by. Thank you so much, Trisha Hershberger.
Thank you for having me.
When do you launch?
When do I launch? Right now!
Well, you mentioned you got some new shows coming out. And we will communicate those other fun initiatives at Escapist
yes.
when you finally get those
When
up
we
and
have
running.
a release date for said shows, we will let you know.
But dang, 3 shows, huh? Not just one show, not
3
2
shows in development right now, and we're talking about a couple more, so that 3 might expand.
And you'll be right here on the stage for Movie Fights on Friday.
Yes, I'll be right here for Movie Fights on Friday, and on Kingsley's show tomorrow morning.
Awesome.
That's going up, so yeah,
everybody's
staying busy.
Everybody's just grabbing and pulling you in
busy
multiple directions.
Everywhere.
And your YouTube channel is your name, right?
Is youtube.com/nerdychick5, actually.
Oh, okay, there we go.
I made that username well before I did YouTube as a career.
That's the case.
Yeah, what year was it? What year was it when it was Nerdy Chick 5?
It started Nerdy Chick 5, easily 10 plus years ago, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then when it merged with your Google Plus, it was like, oh well.
Yeah.
Oh well, Nerdy Chick 5 is a YouTube channel.
So if they lined up all the nerdy chicks in the world, you'd be at the front of it. There'd still be 4 people in front of you, but you'd still be.
Me, so I'm very lucky in that regard.
And thank you so much for our full couch of people, 4 people dedicated to snickering and playing Mortal Kombat X the entire time. We appreciate it. Thank you for pulling my attention away from this marvelous man who's told us all these amazing things. And I was like, sorry I missed it because knives were coming out of that person's eyeballs.
Sorry.
I apologize. Thank you so much to our guests. Thank you so much to our couch. Thank you so much to you guys for watching GT Live every week. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye.
And we're out. Woo!